Comparison of the
Puppy?
Yeah, what?
Puppy?
What?
I thought you were doing the cold open. What the fuck?
I am. Every time, man.
What happened? I don't
Mute your
see nothing
mic.
playing. That's the problem.
Yeah,
Alright, fuck!
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm.
Wait.
Boom! Nailed it.
We did it. What, like it's hard?
Like a lot.
Treat yourself.
Okay, son.
this next one. It's a big, hairy American winning machine.
We did it. We did it, boys. Well, I say we, like I'm in Congress, but
Maybe one day.
man, I ain't never running for public. Shit. I ain't never running for public office. Fuck all that.
Why? It'll be funny.
There's nothing funny about it. Nothing funny at all.
Yes, there is.
I
Yes, there
would.
is.
I would be a terrible congressman.
It's gonna be hilarious.
No, I would be a terrible congressman.
But that's why it'll be hilarious.
You know, here's the bad thing: is that I say I would be a terrible congressman, but unironically, I probably would actually be one of the better ones.
Yeah, exactly. Just
Specifically,
go in there and like bring back the tradition of dueling on Congress floor, on the House floor.
oh yeah, yeah. It's like I would like to challenge the honorable representative from the state of Minnesota to a round of fisticuffs. Preferably a wrestling match, collegiate style.
Why? Why that specifically?
Because I'm a better grappler than I am at throwing hands.
Oh, okay. No, it's gotta be UFC style MMA.
You hear Trump's going to have a UFC fight on the White House lawn? It's not literally going to be on the White
I
House lawn.
wouldn't put it past him, dude.
It's not literally going to be on the lawn, but they're going to put like I don't know where on the property they're going to do it, but they're apparently doing they're going to do a thing for 4th of July next year because it's 250.
Yes, it'll be,
And apparently, according
it'll
to
be glorious.
what Trump said, him and Dana White are actually planning on doing this. They're gonna, set up an octagon and like stands and have people come and watch. And yeah, it's gonna be a full UFC event done from the White House to celebrate 250.
That's gonna be beautiful, dude. I don't care what anyone says. That's gonna be hilarious.
Because to next year is America's 250th birthday.
Hopefully, I make it there.
And then 76 will be 300 years of American excellence.
America. I hope everyone had a good 4th of July, by the way.
Oh, I definitely had an okay one.
Yeah, well, the advantage of living in the future is that I can celebrate 4th of July longer. So, yeah.
I suppose, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you celebrate
yeah,
the 4th
like
on your 4th, and then on the 5th, for you celebrate the 4th again with the rest of us.
Yes. It's absolutely beautiful. But yeah, like it's just. So what's the big deal with the big beautiful bill?
It passed.
Yeah, I know it passed, but like,
and it's gone to Trump's desk for signature. It's. Yep. Shout out to Fox News. Congress sending Trump's big, beautiful bill to his desk after dramatic all-night House vote. It was a big thing in the House, but they managed to get it. They managed to get it passed. 5 Republicans voted
nice.
no.
Of course they did.
Obviously, Thomas Massey was one of them.
Of course he did.
And it's really like polling here in Kentucky is looking like he's gonna get primaried. That all of his bloviating and libertarian grandstanding has cost him his rep seat.
Well, we'll see, I guess, because the midterms are next year, aren't they? Yeah.
2026.
It's next year. Oof.
Yeah. Congress has officially passed President Donald Trump's one big, beautiful bill on Thursday afternoon after back-to-back sleepless sessions for both House and Senate. The massive agenda bill now goes to Trump's desk to be signed into law just in time for Republicans' self-imposed 4th of July deadline. The bill, which advances Trump's policy on taxes, the border, defense, energy, and the national debt, narrowly passes the House of Representatives by a mostly party-line vote. All but 2 Republicans, Reps Thomas Massey and Brian Fitzpatrick, voted for the bill, which passed 218 to 214.
So only 2 of them didn't actually vote.
Oh, but it's fucking set up here that 5 voted nay.
Misinformation.
That was probably a different vote. It was a vote for something else. Oh well, hell yeah! Now that I'm paying attention to it, if this had been a vote for the big, it wouldn't have passed because it's 217.
Yep.
It's a commanding victory for Speaker Mike Johnson and for the president himself, both of whom spent hours overnight trying to persuade GOP critics of the bill. Quote, the president is very engaged. He was very helpful in the process. He helped to answer questions and articulate his vision and what this bill will mean for the country and his agenda and how urgent it is for us to get it done, Johnson told reporters this morning ahead of the vote. The House initially passed its version of the legislation by just 1 vote in late May. Senate Republicans took the bill up late last month and passed it after their own marathon voting session, also by just 1 vote, though the legislation underwent key changes in the upper chambers. House lawmakers were slated to return to Washington on Wednesday morning to begin debating the bill, which included a procedural hurdle known as the rule vote. But even before the rule vote could begin, it was clear the legislation had been hemorrhaging support from both moderates and conservatives on the House GOP. Moderate Republicans were among those concerned about the Senate bill shifting even more of the Medicaid cost burden onto the states that expanded their health benefit populations under the Affordable Care Act, while conservatives were irate that those cuts did not go far enough to mitigate what they saw as excessive spending in other parts of the bill. Yeah, there's a lot of spending in the bill, but then there's also
wasn't that like Elon's main thing as well?
Yeah, it was
about
that
how
then that there are cuts in the bill, but that they don't go far enough. It's only $1.2 trillion in cuts, but spread over 10 years. So, and those cuts don't go far enough.
Yeah.
But the vote was initially
which is I'm going to be honest with you, that's a fair criticism, but
yeah,
at the same time, it's like, do you want something or nothing?
As I said before, the bill probably shouldn't have been one piece of legislation. They could have broke it up in probably 3 parts, and it probably would have been better.
Yeah, but then then again, that would have meant that the usual suspects wouldn't be able to put all their pork in it, and that's why we don't get single issue bills. That's one thing that I wholeheartedly agree with Matt Gaetz on, is that every bill should be single issue, really.
I tend to agree. Omnibus bills aren't there. It's easy for them to get bloated.
Yeah, the whole point of it seems like the whole point of them is just to be pork, right? But then again, what do you do?
Well, as porky as this thing is, I don't know, because I'm not going to read 800 pages of legalese, and I don't know anybody that actually has. So, That's the other thing. If anybody tells you they know everything that's in this bill, they don't. They're lying. It's an 800-page piece of legislation. They haven't read it, no matter what they tell you. I'll tell you straight up, I haven't read the fucking thing, and I'm not going to.
I want to, but it's longer than most novels.
Yep. Yes.
Like, that's the thing, right? It's longer than most novels. It's like, what?
But the vote was initially
Ain't
slated.
nobody got time for that.
No, ain't nobody got time for that. But the vote was initially slated to occur Wednesday morning, eventually passed after 3 a.m. on Thursday, after which both Republicans and Democrats hurriedly began to debate. Among Democrats, delay tactics include a lengthy speech by House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, who attacked Republicans for their overnight schedule.
That is such a I cannot get over how ridiculous some names are.
Hakeem Jeffries.
Yeah, like we discussed this the other day, where it's like it's like the single most like the whitest name the whitest last name you ever heard of, and then it's just some ridiculous fucking first name like Hakeem.
Yep. It's like Unguya Johnson. Something like that. Yeah, Hakeem Johnson. Fucking Mohammed Smith. Fuck off. Like,
Dominishaniqua Matthews.
Yeah, just
Like,
whatever.
What? Bro.
This whole this is the thing. It's like and Hakeem Jeffries is like overnight voting to vote on bills. Like, yeah, let's pretend Democrats have never done that before. This is the pot calling the kettle black.
Yep. Like these are the rules. Like seriously, shut the fuck up. Like,
or change the rules. If Republicans were so proud of this one big ugly bill, why did debate begin at 3:28 a.m. in the morning? A.m. implies in the morning, you dipshit. Republicans are once again, which has been the case, Mr. Speaker, through every step of this journey, trying to jam this bill through the House of Representatives under cover of darkness. Yeah, under cover of darkness, except it's been one of the most court of public opinion talked about bills of my lifetime. Like, I've heard about this thing every day for the last 3 months.
Yep.
But even before the debate, legislation's fate appeared in limbo for much of Wednesday as closed-door negotiations paralyzed the House floor. 5 Republicans had initially voted against proceeding with debate on the bill, while 8 GOP lawmakers had not voted at all. The bill's future was uncertain on Wednesday evening, but rather than accepting defeat, House GOP leaders kept the vote open for hours as they negotiated with holdouts behind closed doors. One House Republican told Fox News Digital that Trump was directly involved in trying to persuade holdouts. The president, meanwhile, aired his frustrations on Truth Social. Quote, "For Republicans, this should be an easy yes vote. Ridiculous." In the end...
Not wrong.
In the end, well, I mean, there's like I said, I can understand why more libertarian-leaning Republicans would not really be super jazzed about this. Not even just for the fact, it's just not even just for the fact that it doesn't go far enough in cutting spending or cutting like social programs like Medicaid and all that shit, but that it increases military spending and then it doesn't service the debt at all. Well, I mean, it kind of does. Again, $1.2 trillion in spending cuts, but they don't think that's enough.
Mm-hmm.
In the end, they returned to the House floor, where nearly all Republicans, save for moderate Rep. Brian Fitzpatrick, voted to begin debating the bill. Johnson told reporters when asked about Fitzpatrick's defection, quote, I talked with him at length. Brian is a very good and trusted friend, and he just has convictions about certain provisions of the bill. He's entitled to that. Meanwhile, House Majority Leader Steve Scalise told reporters that critics were made to understand the bill is their only option on the table. Quote, they recognize that this is the vote that's before us and it's not going to change. There are other things we can do down the road and we want to do, but we've got to get this bill done first. The bill would permanently extend the income tax cut, or the income tax brackets lowered by Trump's 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, while temporarily adding new tax deductions to eliminate duties on tips and overtime wages up to certain caps. It also includes a new tax deduction for people age 65 and over. The no tax on tips and overtime shouldn't be temporary. Like those should be permanent.
Yep. No, I agree.
Especially because that's how he's selling it. He sold it as
like,
no
where the
tax on
hell-
tips should be permanent. But
Yeah,
like,
who the hell made it? Who the hell decided that it should be temporary though? Like, that's my fucking question.
yeah, well, I mean, like, you know, who knows? Who knows? I mean, tons of people know, but no, it doesn't make sense. It should be permanent. Like, all
Yeah,
these
because
tax-
if that was the main fucking point of the bill, why make it temporary?
well, it's not the
Like,
main point of the bill. The main point of the bill is to make Trump's 2017 tax cuts permanent.
Well, yes, okay,
and
true. But like, if that's how you're selling it, like, then it should be one of the main points of the bill.
no, I agree, because that's one of the things they used to sell the bill was no tax on tips and no tax on overtime, but it's a temporary measure that's probably going to go away in, you know, I don't know how long, 5 years probably, whatever.
Yeah.
The legislation rolls back green energy tax credits implemented under former President Joe Biden's Inflation Reduction Act, while Trump and his allies have attacked as the Green New Scam.
I mean, it was.
Yes, it was. The bill would also surge money towards national defense and to immigrations and customs enforcement in the name of Trump's crackdown on illegal immigrants in the U.S. Yeah, that was a big thing for the bill. A massive increase to ICE's budget.
Yeah, I looked at some of the numbers, and ICE is now the fourth largest military on Earth by spending.
Yes, we might actually be getting. I mean, it could be bullshit. You know, nothing could come because nothing. Quote, nothing ever happens. But with this amount of money being pumped into ICE, we could actually get mass deportations. They could afford to do it now.
Mm-hmm.
I really do think it was logistics that was holding back mass deportations. I mean, well, part of it. I mean, there's also
part of it, and then there's also the fact that like there's the left and in general,
and then there's Midwest farm owners and hoteliers and all this shit who genuinely don't want their illegal labor to go away, but like tough titty said to Kitty, you're gonna have to start hiring Americans and paying them a decent fucking wage. I know that's gonna hit you in the pocketbook. And the honorable thing to do would be to not pass that cost off on the consumer. But we all know that's what you're going to do. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, wages could increase and outpace any increases that would come in like the food industry because there's no more like it's almost like I would rather pay a little bit more for food at the grocery store, knowing that an American citizen actually
American actually harvested that shit instead
of some illegal fucking worker. Honduran motherfucker who's been in the country illegally for 10 years, like
who's not only getting underpaid, but is taking the job of someone who's like supposed to be actually here.
Mm-hmm. Right? The bill would also raise the debt limit by $5 trillion in order to avoid a potentially economically devastating credit default sometime this summer if the U.S. runs out of cash to pay its obligations. New and expanded work requirements would be implemented for Medicaid and federal food assistance, respectively. Good. I know a lot of lefties are really upset about that part. You're going to make able-bodied people on Medicaid and food stamps work for their Medicaid and food? Yes.
I don't understand why that was not a requirement in the first place.
Because shit libs.
Like I genuinely do not like. Okay, people tout like the whole free healthcare thing in Australia, and it's not anymore, right?
Yeah.
Like, you need to pay to visit to the GP, which is hilarious because the moment that like a more commie-leaning government got installed here, that was like the first thing they did. But that and then the welfare system here, like actually actively they want you to keep applying for jobs while also volunteering at like certain charity organizations. That's how the welfare system here works. And like your welfare check is enforced, I guess, by your caseworker, who will keep contacting you after every 2 weeks, and who will keep asking you for evidence that you've actually applied for work.
Yeah, no, you don't have to do that here in the United States. If you're on welfare, you just get it.
And that makes no fucking sense to me because, lefties tout, Australia is one of the countries where they fucking tout like, oh, we should become more like Australia. And it's like, dude, you niggas would hate how the welfare system is administered here.
Well, I mean, that's lefties. They have a real problem with not understanding how other countries actually work. They insist that all these other countries,
reality.
yeah. Well, they insist that all these other countries is just all like, oh, all these other countries are much better than America. The Scandinavian countries, Northern Europe, it's like so much better there. They have the highest happiness index in the world. I'm like, yeah, they're also racially and ethnically homogenous, and fucking have relatively low crime rates, and like,
And I mean,
their entire
they also
national.
don't count that a lot of these countries are like have insane rates of being on.
Yeah, no, they don't. They also don't understand that, like, yes, like they have socialized medicine, but the only reason why they can afford to pay for it is because they don't pay for their own national defense. Like,
Nope.
And
Like, there was
again,
I don't know. I might have
take
talked about this in the past, but like, for example, there was a report cited in Sweden, right, back in like 2016, 2017,
yep.
where their entire military would be able to defend a single city against Russia for a week.
Well, there you go.
A single city for a week.
There you go.
Bro, like,
Finland is supposed to be the happiest country in the world.
The fact that the Finnish breakfast, right?
Yeah.
It's literally a joke. The Finnish breakfast is 2 cigarettes and black coffee with 2 shots of vodka. It makes me doubt that.
I was just saying
Like,
that's what they say, that Finland is the happiest country on earth, and it's just like, oh, I mean, even if that's true, they're all on antidepressants. Like, they don't pay for their own. Finland's a NATO country, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't pay for their own national defense.
Like, I'm not gonna admonish the the Finnish soldiers, because we have fucking legendary
yeah, of
soldiers
course.
from Finland. Like Simo Haiha, and I forget his other name, but the guy that took like his entire squad's dose of cocaine and just went insane for like a month.
Yes.
Or something. I forget his Marco or something, I think his name was. But anyway, point being, like, Finland has absolutely like insane legendary soldiers, but as their military stands, like, they're basically no better than Sweden at the moment.
Well, I mean, and
Like,
back onto the point
amazing.
of like healthcare, it's like, yes, they have the socialized healthcare system with 6-month waiting lists, and fucking like look at the state of the NHS and tell me that like their system is
Well,
better.
I was about to say, like, there's a guy that we have, like Mishima, right?
Yeah.
He got sick recently, and when we told him to go to the doctor, he's like, "Oh, to visit the GP." He's like, "No, because if I were to go to the GP, I would need to book, and I would, like, minimum, it would need 3 months in advance for me to see it."
Yep.
And like, dude, that's fucking ridiculous. 3 months. By that point, your cold could have progressed to fucking pneumonia or bronchitis or whatever. And you'd be dead by then. Like, what?
There's no waiting list in the NHS. That's a lie. That's a Republican lie. What are you talking about? That's a right-wing propaganda lie.
Yeah, there's no waiting lists because they don't keep a list of the people fucking waiting. They just tell you, "Oh, your appointment's in fucking 6 months." Like, what is this bullshit, bro?
Yeah.
Anyway.
I already read that part. Democrats have blasted the bill as a tax giveaway to the wealthy while cutting federal benefits for working class Americans. Yeah, except those, like, they say that every year. Anytime there's a tax cut, they always say only the wealthy are going to see this tax cut because the wealthy pay most of the taxes. Most Americans, like, don't even pay taxes at all.
Taxes.
They take so much out of the system that their tax debt, they're effectively paid to be Americans.
Yep.
Oh God, especially if you live below the poverty line. If you live below the poverty line, if you live at or below the poverty line, you do not pay taxes. Simple as, you don't.
Well, the thing is, right? Like, it's just I do agree with the assessment that the system is broken, because like the moment you, and this is something that I heard Uncle Milt, Milton Friedman,
Yes.
um, talk about like way back in the 70s, even back then, where he's like, look, like the system is fucked because the moment you get out of the poverty line, they just pull the rug out from under you.
Yeah.
Like, you work so hard to get to this point, and then they get rid of all the support, and it's like, well, now you're actually worse off than when you were in welfare. So why the government is effectively incentivizing staying on welfare.
Yeah, well, because as soon as you like get out of the poverty line, you instantly end up in the tax bracket above, and you get taxed way harder.
Yeah,
Like the first time in my
it's like
life,
that.
I was making more. I was making more than like $30,000 a year. Like
Mhm.
instantly, I could like there was a noticeable increase in the amount of taxes they were taking out of my check, and then at the end of the year, for those years that I made that much, I had to still pay. Like I always,
Right.
I got taxed 365 days that year, and then when it came tax time, it's like, oh, you owe us another $600.
Yeah,
Sorry, we
that
didn't
needs.
we didn't tax you hard enough.
Yep, like that's the thing with tax. That's the thing that people also don't, like, the lefties also don't talk about. Like, the tax system in the U.S. is completely fucked up.
Oh yeah, it's retarded.
Like, because I mean, as retarded as the tax rates are over here, at least the tax system is actually uniform. It's actually understandable. You know where you stand.
Yeah, we need a
You
flat
know,
tax.
like, it doesn't even need to be a flat tax. You just need to actually fix the fucking system.
No,
Like, I don't understand. I
I
don't understand what. Like, no. But I don't disagree, right? But like, at least start somewhere. Like, do I don't know why the fucking IRS has to do this fucking guessing game where we know how much you owe, but we're not going to tell you. Like,
yeah.
in Australia, like, literally the government just knows how much tax you paid because they track it through your employer,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then at the end of the year, you know either whether you're owed or they owe you.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. We need to massively
Like the
simplify. The tax code is the stupidest thing about like the American
like the tax
economic
code.
system.
The tax code is also like stupidly complicated over here, but it's not. It's like, from what you're saying, from what I'm hearing, like, from my experience dealing with like Americans and with the tax system in America, it's not as retarded as America. Like, it is actually just dumb. Like,
Yeah,
you guys just need to like overhaul the entire fucking tax system. Just
yeah.
throw out the entire book and start from scratch.
Yeah.
You'd be much better off.
Abolish the IRS and replace the federal income tax brackets and all that shit with a simple 10% flat tax on everybody. Period. End of
Yeah,
story. Preferably, you get rid of like federal income tax altogether, but then you'd have to replace it with something to fund the federal government.
yeah.
They could have no ability to tax. For instance, you could take their ability to tax out the window, and they instead tax individuals out the window, and
Or
just replace.
just
Well,
for something with like a sales tax or something.
well, yeah, or they tax the state governments
Yeah,
essentially. The federal government funds itself by taxing the state governments. It's just like how much money
right.
the states make. You know, they
Hmm.
because instead of taxing individuals, the states tax individuals because they're the citizens of the states,
They're
and then the
yeah,
federal
yeah, they're closer. Yeah, and they
then the
actually
Fed
have like a better,
yeah
like a
then the
closer
federal
grasp of what the citizens actually like do
yeah and then the federal
and all
government
that.
taxes the states.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
also not opposed to the idea of the negative income tax, like as a stopgap from welfare.
yeah.
Yeah.
What is the negative income tax again?
Well, essentially, it's the opposite of the thing. Like, if you don't make enough money, like the government gives you like a bigger refund, essentially.
Oh yeah, well they
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
I need to reread up on it because it's been a while, but
So UBI.
like, instead of, sorry,
So basically UBI. If
not
you live below
not
the poverty line,
really,
you get a universal basic income.
but yes and no, yes and no. It's a bit more, like, nuanced than that, but yeah, I guess if you want to simplify it, yes. because you don't we don't want to do a rug pull on the people currently on welfare, right? Like you need to be able to wean them off the system.
Yeah,
At
probably.
least that's the idea. But I mean, if we're not gonna go through all that, then you know what? Then fuck it, just go. But yeah, nah.
Republicans have said that their tax provisions are targeted toward the working and middle class cities, citing measures eliminating taxes on tipped and overtime wages, while arguing they were reforming federal welfare programs to work better for those who truly need them. Conservative groups also praised the bill, with Club for Growth CEO David McIntosh telling Fox News Digital, quote, by preventing the biggest tax hike in history, passing full expensing, and beginning to make key cuts to bloated programs and giveaways, we are setting up our country to prosper in a new golden age. So, yeah, I mean, um, the cuts to Medicaid it's also anticipatory cuts to Medicaid, because the idea is that, like, okay, we're going to kick part of the big beautiful bill was kicking off all the illegals, kick all the
Mhm.
illegals off of Medicaid, implement the work requirement for Medicaid, which
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it should go as far as it's not just illegals that need to be kicked off.
yeah, I'm getting to that.
All non-citizens should be.
I mean, sure, yeah, probably.
I mean,
I don't
that's
know
the
how
way it
many
works over here.
well, that's the thing. I don't know how many non-citizens are on it though, because most non-citizens probably are smart enough to, like. I don't know how many. I don't know. I don't know what the numbers on that are. I would agree though.
Mm. Like that's the way it works down here. Is that if you're not there are some exceptions. Like I think New Zealand citizens also get like benefits, but that's mostly because of the fact of how close the relationship is between Australia and New Zealand,
Yeah.
right? But beyond that, yeah, like if you're not a citizen, you don't get Medicare benefits.
No, anyway, the Medicaid cuts, like I said, they're anticipatory, because Medicaid will
Hmm.
not need the same budget that it has when you kick off, all the illegals that are on it, and then you also
Yep.
the work requirements implemented will naturally cause people to fall off of it.
Yeah.
Not only because they're too fucking lazy and they don't want to get a job, so they're going to lose it, but some people are going to end up getting jobs and making enough money that they're not going to qualify anymore.
That they're not going to follow. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So if you're not
Yep.
going to have all these
100%.
people drawing money from it, then it's not going to need as much money in its budget. I mean,
Hmm.
I'm one of those people who would
Then we
prefer.
might finally, balance the fucking unfunded liabilities that we're running into.
Yeah. Quote, we delivered historic tax relief for working families, unprecedented border security investments, unleashed American energy dominance, and massive cuts to wasteful federal spending. Republican Study Committee Chairman August Pfluger, Jesus Christ, told Fox News Digital. After years of failed policies, we stepped up to put Americans first and fulfilled our promises. On July 4th, 2025, we will return power to where it belongs, with the American people.
That is like either a German name or like a tribe name,
Pfluger? I don't know. I don't
Fluger.
know.
Yeah,
That does sound very. This does sound very German. Let me look that up. I'm curious.
Fluger.
Very Germanic.
Hmm. Flügel is a German surname with occupational origins meaning plowman
Yep.
or tillerman.
So he was his
It has
ancestors were.
several spelling variations, including Flügel, 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 Pleumann, and Plemons.
Yep.
Okay.
House
Okay.
GOP Policy Committee Chairman Kevin Hearn, a Republican from Oklahoma, said the bill took an incredible amount of work to get this bill across the finish line, starting several years ago with field hearings, stakeholder meetings, and a lot of research into niche tax policy. So yeah, no, the Trump tax cuts are permanent. Like I said, we are going to get spending cuts. They're just not going to go into effect immediately, and they're probably not enough compared to how much money we spend. And a lot of the spending cuts, they say, are offset by the amount of money that's going to get spent on ICE. I think we should just simplify all that and just make the military do it, instead of having the immigration, customs, and enforcement just have the army go and fucking enforce immigration law. Then we can pay for it with the military budget.
I'm
Also,
not sure if that's within legal limits, I guess.
even if it, well, I'm just saying it makes more like I'm not even really caring about the legality of it necessarily. I'm just thinking practically. Like if we would all worry about what is and
No.
isn't legal, because first of all, these people are not here legally. So I do think that like we could use the U.S. military to round them up and throw them out. But also like it gives a lot of our soldiers something to actually do instead of just living on post and running maneuvers and dicking around. Like
Yep.
instead of doing all these things, it's like it actually okay. Now you have to go and you have to deal with people who are going to resist you, people who may even fire at you. They need like I said, it'll give them something to do, which could be useful later on if they have to actually get deployed to do something. It's like imagine it's just all like you have to go to fucking Iran, for instance. God forbid, nobody wants to fight in Iran, but just hypothetically, like imagine you have to fucking go to Iran, and it's just like, oh well, I got shot at by fucking Trende Aragua gang. We were raiding a fucking tenement building that Trende Aragua had taken over, and they fired on me. So like I'm already been here. I've already gone through this. I already know what this is like. Instead of imagine it's just like I wonder how hard it was back in like 2003 and 4. Kids sign up for the military, and then like as soon as they get out of basic, they get assigned to post. Then they immediately get deployed and are getting shot at with like 6 months later. Like it's probably not. It's probably a bit of a shock.
Not the most pleasant thing to be welcome to.
Yeah, so like, but imagine if like you actually had to go around, and so it's like it gives them like urban, like having to deal with combatants in urban settings. It just makes sense to me. This is the same way that I want to get rid of the intelligence apparatus and just replace it with the Navy. Like, just let the Navy do intelligence. Yeah, there's no point in having a CIA. The Navy can do it. There's no point. There's no point in having an No, don't like. You know what I mean. We do need an intelligence apparatus. I just think it should be part of the military.
Oh, like the OSS was, basically.
Because the military is going to be the ones using the intelligence anyway.
Yeah.
And if also the CIA doesn't answer to the president, the Navy would. So, the CIA doesn't answer to anybody. That's the problem. Not really. Technically, they answer to Congress, but meh. It's hit or miss. Same thing. We don't need FBI. We don't.
Guess they never miss, huh?
Yep. No, but same thing. We don't need a DEA, an ATF, the FBI. We have the U.S. Marshals. Just expand the U.S. Marshals. Give them more resources.
There are way too many bloody
the 3-letter agencies. Yeah. But yeah, U.S. Marshals. We already had a system of federal law enforcement that could cross state lines. The U.S. Marshals. Just expand them. You just get rid of all the 3-letter agencies and just be like, okay, U.S. Marshals. Now you have a larger budget. Do more recruiting. You guys are the FBI, the ATF, the DEA now, and DHS. This is now the purview. Yeah, this is now the purview of the U.S. Marshals.
Yep. Yeah, I don't see why why we need to expand all that shit. To be honest, maybe it's like omnibus bills. Like they needed all these agencies to add pork somewhere.
I mean, that's that. I agree. That's probably what it is. Yep. But so anyway, in other news, a top Iranian cleric declared a fatwa against Trump and Netanyahu. So even though we got a ceasefire deal done, even though like America stepped in and got the kids to stop fighting in the sandbox. Now they're sitting over there in the sandbox in the smoldering crater of their nuclear their fissile material enrichment site, and they're still talking shit. Now, to be fair, this wasn't the Ayatollah or anyone like super high up in government. He's just he's a Shia cleric. So.
Oh wow, a fatwa! Oh,
yeah,
against the leaders of 2 of the most powerful countries in the world.
I know, right? Like I said, they're just sitting over there in their sandbox talking shit. They just got butt fucked in a 12-day conflict that ended with them losing their not their entire nuclear program, but like a large portion of their fucking nuclear program, and they're still over there like running their
And
mouth.
literally, like the upper 30%, like, bro.
I think you're too far from your PC because you're
No, no,
cutting
no.
out.
No. So like so not only their most of their nuclear program, but like the upper 30% of their military.
Oh, yep. Multiple
It's like
IRGC generals, a lot of their nuclear scientists.
multiple, like, yeah, a lot of their, like, just regular army generals, a lot of their Air Force generals. It's like, dude.
They,
And the upper. Do you know what the name of the Israelis gave that operation was? Apparently,
Rising Lion.
nope. Oh, no. The whole thing was Rising Lion.
Oh, okay.
But the one where they got all of the top brass in one meeting.
Oh no, what they call it?
Operation Red Wedding.
That's amazing. W Jews.
It's a fucking Game of Thrones reference.
W Jews.
Why?
Because season 3 of Game of Thrones is top tier television. It's genuinely good stuff.
I don't know. I'm just like, why? What the? Okay.
I gotta get you to watch that shit with me. It's genuinely good.
No.
I hate when you do
I
this.
refuse.
Why?
I
Like
refuse.
this is such fucking like. This is such fucking like South Park goth kid bullshit. It's all like, oh, it's too popular, so I don't want to be a part of it. Meh.
No, it's not. It's not that it's too popular. I read A Song of Ice and Fire. Like, someone gifted that book to my mother.
Well, which one? You're talking about the first one, Game of Thrones?
Yeah, the first one. A Song of Ice and Fire. Yes.
Well, they're all called A Song of Ice and Fire.
Are they? I
Yes.
need to pull it out, but I read that book, like the first book.
The first book is called A Song of Ice and Fire: A Game of Thrones.
Okay. Well, I obviously didn't give enough of a shit, but yeah, I just didn't really like it. I finished it, but
Okay,
yeah.
well, here's the thing: the show
Mm.
is substantially different. Like it's very true to the source material, but it's also like it takes liberties. It makes things like it streamlines the entire thing. Like it's good television, sir. It's like Rome levels of good. At least it was up until like season 4. Then it started to fall off. And then season 8 was dog. Season 8 was dog shit. Some of the worst television I've ever seen in my life. Season 8 was a terrible, terrible, terrible season. I hated every second of it.
All right.
Iran's top Shiite cleric issued a religious decree against President Donald Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Sunday, an act some experts called an incitement to terrorism. The fatwa from Grand Ayatollah Nasser Makarem Shirazi called the Muslims around the world to take a stand, according to the New York Sun. It states that any individual or government that challenges or endangers the leadership and unity of the global Islamic community, the Ummah, is to be regarded as a warlord or a muharib, defined as someone who wages war against God. Under Iranian law, those identified as muharib can face execution, crucifixion, limb amputation, or exile. So essentially, this Iranian cleric guy, who's I guess technically an Ayatollah, but he basically called on Muslims around the world to try to kill Trump and Bibi. So, quote, those who threaten the leadership and integrity of the Islamic Ummah are to be considered warlords. Bro, like, so does that include all the Arab Muslims who hate you Persian Muslims? What Ummah are you talking about? You're Shiites. So does the Ummah not include the Sunni?
Well,
like,
yeah.
What Muslim unity are you talking about? Where is this Ummah? I don't see it. It does not.
Well,
exist.
you remember that video I sent you a while back?
Which one? The one about
where it
dogs?
was like, no, the one about the Israeli Israeli professor who speaks Arabic and was at the Al Jazeera.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, where he's like, who would want to join a peace with you when you can't even have peace within yourselves? It's literally that. I was like, dude. Where's the Islamic peace? Islam doesn't mean peace because there's no peace even between fucking practitioners. Like, what?
Yep. Across fucking ethnic, racial, fucking and then doctrinal lines. You guys like hate each other as much as you hate Christians and Jews. That's why I don't understand. Like, and that's did you ever notice also that like every Muslim country claims they're the seat of Muslim power in the world? The Pakistanis claim that they're the seat of Muslim power in the world. The Iranians claim it. The Saudis claim it. Like they all claim that like nope, we are the
Fucking here's the kicker. Brunei claims it.
Jesus Christ.
Brunei. You know what Brunei's full name is?
No, I don't.
Brunei Dar es Salaam.
And what does that mean?
Brunei, the land of peace, which is synonymous with the land of Islam, basically.
Ah, I see.
And then, like, some Muslim country in fucking, I can't remember which country it is. I think it's Tanzania. Their capital is called, guess what? Dar es Salaam. Pakistan has its capital as Islamabad.
Yes.
Which literally means the city of Islam. It's like,
yep. They all claim to be the seat of Muslim power in the world, and like there's no caliphate, there's no ummah, there's no unity. Like, that's the funny thing. It's like Christians don't really have this problem. Like, they haven't had this problem in 1,000 years. Where they're actually fighting over Christianity. They're just kind of like looking at each other like cross-eyed.
The Catholics probably have the strongest claim to that, just because of the magisterium and the Pope, right? But
but at this point,
there's we haven't had like a proper religious war in like 300 years.
Yeah, and it's just like other than side eye and like the occasional petty jab, like there's there's no. It's all friendly borders. Like Protestants and Orthos and Catholics aren't fucking fighting each other anymore. It's literally three. It's like Spider-Man meme, except there's three of them, and they're all pointing at each other, calling each other fake and gay. Like, Catholics are pointing at Orthos and Protestants, saying you guys are fake and gay. The Orthos are pointing at Protestants and Catholics and saying you guys are fake and gay. The Protestants are pointing at the Orthos and the Catholics and going, no, you guys are fake and gay. But then somebody pops up and says, yeah, but like we all love Jesus, right? And it's just like, well, obviously, yes. And then here's the thing, nobody's trying to kill each other over it.
Except if they're Irish.
Yeah, but that's a political thing that just happens to be wrapped up in, like, that's all. It's pure politics. It's like the fact that like they're Catholic and they don't like Protestantism, fine. Like, but it has way more to do with
ethnicity
and English colonialism on Ireland. That's like the fact that it's Catholic versus Protestant is mostly just window dressing.
Mm-hmm. No, that's true.
Because, like, look at the people that they actually try to blow up, like, with car bombs. It's always, like, politicians and, like, military leaders and shit like that. They're not killing fucking... They're, like, when's the last time the IRA took a shot at the Archbishop of Canterbury? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't happen. If it was a religious war, you know what I mean? Like...
Yeah, they were trying to assassinate the king.
Yeah. Anyway, he finished with a prayer asking for protection from those enemies and for a swift return to Mahdi, a messianic figure in Shia Islam. British-Iranian commentator Niak Gorbani condemned the fatwa, describing it as a state-endorsed incitement of global terrorism. His post on X, he posted on his X account that the Islamic Republic's aggression is not limited to domestic dissent, but signals broader international ambitions for religiously motivated violence. Quote: the West must quote, the West must realize the Islamic Republic is not only targeting its own people, it is preparing for global violence in the name of religion. He wrote in the post. The fatwa followed what has been dubbed the 12-day war, during which American and Israeli efforts reportedly inflicted significant damage to Iran's nuclear capabilities and IRGC leadership as well. And we also
what is extremely funny to me as well?
What?
You know how Christians get accused, or Christians and Jews get accused of like bringing up, trying to bring about like this global war in order to, to hasten the coming of the Messiah.
Yes.
That's literally the Shiite uh, theology.
We have to start a global conflict to hasten the coming of the
Or the
coming of the.
Mahdi, yeah.
I see. I did not know
Like
that.
that's yeah. It's like how come like Shias don't get shit for that, but like Christians who the majority of whom don't uh, subscribe to that belief,
Yeah.
right? Like that's basically just like like a like I hate to put it this way, but it's literally just a few crazies.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the entire Shia branch of Islam is like that's the entire point of it, and somehow that's not a problem.
Well, it's never a problem whenever Muslims do stuff.
Yeah.
Because, like,
Well, like it's all like this is the thing that also pisses me off about like all the Iran simps in the West. It's just like, what the fuck, you know?
well, that's like I said. That's we even did it just now, but like we can't talk about Islamic terrorism without somebody bringing up IRA terrorism. Like it's only bad whenever white Christians do things. Because and the like Muslim simps in America have this really bad habit of just like the whole. Well, I mean, Ron Paul used to talk about this all the time too. That the reason why they're attacking Americans and blowing shit up is because we started blowing them up, and it's just like that's not really historically accurate. Arabs became aggressive with Americans before, you know. If
Before America existed.
you want to get down to brass tacks about it, yeah. I mean, if you want to go back far enough, Muslims have always been aggressing upon Christians. That's how it like. The first Crusades
That's
were
literally how it started.
Yeah. The first Crusades were defensive wars.
The first Crusade was a defensive war after a 400-year war of aggression.
Yep. On June 13th, Israeli airstrikes targeted Iran nuclear facilities and military facilities, reportedly killing top scientists and commanders. In retaliation, Iran launched ballistic missiles at Israeli cities. The U.S. joined the conflict a week later, striking 3 Iranian nuclear sites. Trump had earlier warned that any further enrichment of uranium by Iran to weapons-grade levels would provoke additional American action. This warning followed a brief ceasefire that ended a 12-day period of intense conflict. It is not the first time Iranian clerics have used fatwas to incite violence. The most infamous case was the 1989 decree against author Salman Rushdie after the release of his novel The Satanic Verses, which many Muslims considered offensive. The fatwa forced Rushdie into hiding, led to the murder of a Japanese translator and multiple attacks on the book's publishers.
Well, I mean, you know what the Satanic Verses were about, right? Like, not the novel, but the actual Satanic Verses.
No, I don't know.
Okay. The Satanic Verses is basically in the Hadiths and in the Quran itself. Like, there's actually mention of it that Muhammad supposedly delivered messages, like revelations that he thought were from God, but they actually came from Satan.
Oh wow! No, I didn't know about that because I've never read the Rushdie book. I don't even know what it's about. So.
Well, it's not. That's the thing. I've never read the Rushdie book, but I just know about the actual Satanic Verses that's mentioned in the Hadiths and in the Quran. Like, the Quran actually makes mention of sometimes prophets are fooled, and Allah cleanses the book and purges it from the Quran, because the Quran is apparently like Allah's eternal speech.
I see.
Yeah, so even the Quran acknowledges that there were previous versions of the Quran that had Satanic verses in them. Beautiful. Islam is such a joke of a fucking religion, dude. Like, seriously, Greek mythology makes more fucking sense than this fucking actual shit show of a religion, dude.
I fucking forgot all about this, but one of the assassination attempts on Salman Rushdie happened back a couple years ago in 2023. He lost an eye. I forgot all about that, but yeah, he got stabbed.
Mm-hmm.
Rushdie has survived multiple assassination attempts since, including a 2023 stabbing attack in upstate New York in which he lost an eye. So the idea that calling a fatwa is just like a empty political gesture, it's not true. They're still trying to kill Salman Rushdie, and it's been 30 years since he wrote that book. And the Muslims and the fucking Iranians still haven't let it go. Well, Muslims. but whatever.
Yeah, well, Shiites, yeah, generally. Yeah.
Shiites, yeah.
Well, it's not just Shiites because, like, the convenient thing about Islam is that they can sort of take in what they want.
Oh shit! Julian McMahon is dead. That sucks.
Who's that?
He was a star he's an actor. He's a star of a really popular TV show I watched in high school called Nip Tuck. He played a plastic surgeon who was like,
Was he the doctor with black hair?
yeah, he was the tall one who was more ethically flexible.
Okay.
Also,
I remember
he played Doctor.
I remember Nip Tuck.
Yeah.
Mostly because of the tits involved in it. Anyway.
Yeah. He played Doctor Doom in the 2 Fantastic Four movies that came out in 2007 and 9. Like,
oh, I never saw them because cape shit.
Yeah, but I'm just saying those were 2 big movies that he did.
Okay.
Also, oh god, Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom broke up. No.
Literally, who gives a shit?
Whatever will the world do? But no, in more serious news, I remember we talked about this. One of the firebombing in Boulder, Colorado, not firebombing, but the Molotov cocktails. That the Egyptian guy that attacked the Jews in
the Jewish parade, yeah. Yep.
One of them died, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, rip.
Yep. So that guy's officially a murderer now. The 82-year-old victim of the Boulder, Colorado anti-Semitic. I stop saying that word. Jesus Christ, it's so loaded. Nobody cares. Like, just
you know what? You know what's regretful about that though?
What?
This is actually one of those times where that would have applied. Properly.
No, I agree.
But like the fact is that the pro Israel or pro Jew side has used that so much that it's lost all meaning. Basically, it's like the reverse of racist.
Yeah, I know. It's this is anti-Semitic. I'm like, I just think the IDF should probably stop, carpet bombing. Why do you hate Jews? Hold on a minute.
What?
I'm literally on your side. I'm just saying tactically I think it'd be better. Why do you hate Jews? Okay, I'm done here. And I mean that's literally happened to me. I was in an X space. I think I've told the story on the pod before.
Yeah.
But like I was in an X space and like that nobody called me an anti-Semite, but I was in an X space and like I gave like the most mild criticism of Israel. Like I can't even. Here's the thing: I don't even remember what I said, and everyone in the X space immediately started reading. I'm just like, whoa, guys! Like I get it, you're in defense mode because you've been kind of under like verbal assault everywhere you go. But like I've been in this X space for 2 hours, 100% on your side. It's the first time I've said anything you could even remotely take as a criticism, and you instantly fucking turn heel on me. Like, this is what I'm talking about, Jews. This is why people, like, you make it easy for people to point this stuff out. So, but anyway, the firebomb attack has died weeks after she was badly burned, officials said. Karen Diamond, who was among the 29 victims who were attacked while peacefully marching to support the Israeli hostages still captive by Hamas, succumbed to her severe injuries. The Boulder, Colorado District Attorney said in a statement on Monday. The suspect, Mohammed Solomon, is facing upgraded charges, including 2 counts of first-degree murder, the prosecutor said. Knife to the neck.
Knife to the neck, body to the ditch. That's it. No special considerations.
Yep, just fill the ditch with dirt and give their bodies back to the earth.
Or, just fill it with kerosene and then burn the thing.
Yeah, just like I understand, but like it just bury them and kind of let them decompose. Just fertilize the dirt.
Either way. Like I my only real sticking point is the knife to the neck thing. That's it.
This horrific in Minecraft, by the way. It's so stupid.
No, not in Minecraft. I actually we talked about this before. Like if there ever was going to be like a reinstatement of capital punishment, that's all I think is that knife to the neck, Yeah, that's it.
Quote, this horrific attack has now claimed the life of an innocent person who is beloved by her family and friends. Solomon allegedly attacked Diamond and the mostly elderly demonstrators on June 1st with a homemade flamethrower and Molotov cocktails while they were peacefully partaking in the Run for Their Lives walk. The group would march weekly to show solidarity with the 50 Israeli hostages in Hamas hands 20 months after October 7, 2023 attack on Israel. Solomon was allegedly waiting for the marchers at one of their scheduled stops outside the Boulder County Courthouse, police said. While disguised as a landscaper, Solomon allegedly shouted "Free Palestine" as he sprayed members of the group with 87-octane gasoline from a garden hose he had built into a makeshift flamethrower. He also lobbed a pair of Molotov cocktails at the demonstrators and stripped down his bare chest after his shirt caught fire.
How are you so fucking incompetent?
Because he's a fucking Egyptian Muslim. These are not competent people. In an interview with authorities after his arrest, Solomon voiced hateful views about Jewish people, stating he wanted to kill all Zionist people and that he wished they were all dead, according to cops. Of the 29 victims of the attack, 13 were physically injured, the district attorney's office said. In total, Solomon is now facing 2 counts of first-degree murder, 52 counts of attempted first-degree murder, 8 counts of first-degree assault, 18 counts of attempted first-degree assault, 2 counts of third-degree assault, 2 counts of using an incendiary device, 16 counts of attempted use of an incendiary device, and 1 count of animal cruelty. Yeah, one of the people had their dogs there, and the dog got injured too, but the dog is fine from what I know.
Just don't even deport him. Just fucking set knife to the neck.
Yeah, just execute him.
No.
When he gets found guilty, just knife to the neck.
Yeah, deport his entire family. No worries. But
oh yeah, his wife and his kids need to be deported, but he doesn't. He execute his ass.
Yep, knife to the neck.
Solomon is an Egyptian.
I should just put that as like my Discord tagline. Just be like knife to the neck.
Knife to the neck. Splat. Solomon is an Egyptian national who overstayed his visa at the time of the attack, authorities said. ICE later detained his wife and 5 children, and the Trump administration is currently fighting in court to deport them. Solomon's primary hearing has been scheduled for July 15th. Pam Bondi will have her scalps. Those kids and that woman will be deported.
Yeah, because Pam Bondi desperately needs a win right now.
Yeah, well, I think she's been doing fine. Like the Epstein files, like whatever.
No, but she needs like a definite win. Like I don't disagree with you. Is that in that yeah, like it's that she's doing okay, but I mean, let's compare her to some of Trump's more successful picks, like Tom Homan, Marco Rubio. Like, dude,
yeah,
she's superstars by comparison, and she's kind of like, yeah.
Well, if they would release the Epstein files, that would go a long way.
Like fucking Judge Janine Pirro is actually getting more like positive shit just because of the troll value of how she got appointed.
Yeah. Well, and apparently and here's the other thing. Apparently it doesn't seem to be Pam Bondi. I mean, I don't know if Pam Bondi can order the FBI to release the Epstein files. I'm sure she can. Like, I don't know like who answers to who in that respect. But it's
from what I understand, it's the SDNY that's holding shit back.
Well, no, but I mean well, sure, but like based on what I'm saying is that like based on what Cash was saying on Rogan's podcast, it's him. Cash doesn't want to release the Epstein files because first of all, he doesn't think there's anything in it that can get him any solid convictions, and B, he said he doesn't want to re-victimize the victims who are in the videos. That's what he says. I think it's interesting that you can convict somebody for child trafficking, but you can't find any of the people he allegedly trafficked children to. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Ghislaine Maxwell.
It's definitely fucked. Like,
Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison right now for facilitating sex trafficking of minors. But so you've got victims, you have perpetrators, but you have no.
But you don't have like Johns. Like, who did she traffic them to?
Yeah, like it is like. But I'm just saying, it's like, is it Pam Bondi or is it Cash that's really holding this back? And who answers to who? They probably. I don't know if they. I don't think they answer to each other.
But
I think
technically, Cash answers to Prime Bondi.
the Attorney
Because
General. Does the Attorney
the
General
Attorney
have
General
authority
is
over the FBI? I'm not sure. That's what I'm saying.
yeah, because the DOJ, the FBI is under the DOJ.
Oh, well, okay, yeah. No, I mean, okay, yeah, that makes sense, yeah. Now, but is it like so? Okay, sure. So Pam Bondi, if she want, just put it. Y'all did the JFK files. Now just do the Epstein files. Just redact some. Unfortunately, people are gonna really hate this, but you're gonna have to redact some things. You're gonna have to buzz some faces out.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yep.
But Cash insists that like the video evidence is bad, but it's not what you think it is. That you're. It's mostly just women getting fucked. It's just like it's It's not like it. According to Cash, it's not the massive smoking gun that people think it's going to be. But who knows?
Mm.
Well, I mean, and it doesn't do anybody any favors that Maxwell's father was Mossad, and all the stuff that kind of comes with that. Like it makes everybody look bad, and it only gives fuel to the fire that that Epstein was a Mossad agent, which I don't think he was. If the blackmail ring was run by anybody, it was run by the CIA. I mean, it's possible that like Mossad participated in it. If I'm being as charitable as I possibly can be to the idea, but it just comes back to the idea that I've said is that like America is the one that calls the shots, not Israel. And if the CIA was running a blackmail ring, that I think it would be, or if Epstein was running a blackmail ring, I think he was CIA asset, not Mossad. Oh, but he had an Israeli passport. He was a billionaire who was a financier and who gave money to, of course, and he was Jewish. Of course, he was going to have a fucking Israeli passport. Like, tons of Jews have Israeli passports. They're not all Mossad agents. Like, whatever. But anyway, yeah, I hope this Solomon guy gets, gets like the book thrown at him. I don't know. Colorado probably doesn't have the death penalty. But Pam Bondi on federal charges could probably, if he's getting any federal charges, which he probably isn't, but if he does get federal charges, kind of like with Luigi Mangione, she can seek the death penalty. So. Anyway, that was pretty much the only bad news this week. I really don't have much like going on this week. It's actually going to be kind of a short one. But yeah, no. According to NBC Montana, American-born employment hits record high as foreign-born jobs decline.
USA.
Nature is healing. Now, keep in mind that a headline the exact opposite of this happened during Biden's administration. I don't have it pulled up, but let me see if I can find it real fast. Because there was literally a fucking like this basic headline, but in reverse.
Yeah, remember it was like in 22, like right in the middle, like right at the tail end of the pandemic. Yeah, like 2022, roughly.
Let me scroll up and find it. I know it's here. I just saw it the other day. Oh yeah, it was in August. It was the August jobs report here. Let me fucking. Oh no, this was in September of 2024. August jobs report shows job losses for U.S.-born workers, gains for foreign-born workers. So in less than a year, or not August, September. My bad. This was published in September. So yeah, in less than a year, this exact fucking headline has been flipped because Trump makes promises and he keeps them. The U.S. labor market shows a significant shift in June as the number of American-born workers employed surges by 830,000, reaching the highest level ever recorded, according to the Department of Labor. The increase surpasses the pre-pandemic high set in October of 2019. Conversely, employment among foreign-born workers declined by 348,000, marking the third consecutive month of decreases. People are self-deporting. And that's what we want to see. Marking the third consecutive month of decreases. The Department of Labor's the Department of Labor's data indicates that since the start of 2025, foreign-born employment has dropped by over 500,000, while American-born employment has increased by more than 2. The overall number of jobs added in June exceeds expectations, with economists predicting economists predicting a drop in employment. Instead, employment rose by 3,000. The unemployment rate also saw a slight decrease, falling from 4.1 to 4.2 in May. Or falling to 4.1 from 4.2. I read that backwards. Many attribute these trends to the Trump administration's crackdown on illegal immigration. It probably has a lot to do with it. Like, a lot of people are self-deporting.
So whenever whenever people keep talking about, like, oh, Obama fucking deported more people, and it's like, we talked about this previously, right? But
Yeah.
first off, the way they counted numbers under Obama was bullshit. And second off, yeah, like, we literally do not know how many people have self-deported so far. We can tell it's making a dent, right?
Yep.
But there's no numbers on it.
Yeah, a lot of people are just fucking like, oh, no, my time here is done. I gotta go.
My time has come.
No, like I was just reading the other day about a U.S. Army veteran from South Korea who joined the Army, served, was discharged honorably, as far as I know, then became a convicted felon, and never sought. He even if he hadn't become a felon, he never sought. He was happy to just be a permanent resident. He never even tried to get citizenship. Got convicted of a felony, and he was up for deportation, so he just left. He just was like, well, I'm just going to go back to South Korea now. Lived in the country for 20 years.
Yeah, I do not understand. Like, I literally do not understand those people. Like, you didn't even try.
Yep. And like,
What?
and the reason why I heard about this is because some lefty shitheads were saying it's like Trump's deporting veterans. I'm like, no, he's not. And then I'm like, oh, okay, turns out he is. But if you look into the cases, only 3 U.S. Army veterans, U.S. military, I think they were all Army, but 3 U.S. military veterans have been deported this year. In all 3 cases, they were foreign-born, permanent residents. None of them even attempted to seek citizenship. And in all 3 cases, they were all discharged and all convicted felons. One of them was a cocaine dealer. So it's not as simple as Trump deports veterans. And here's the thing. I don't care if you served in the U.S. military, but like if you live in my country for decades, you don't even try to get citizenship, and then you sell cocaine. Like, nah, get out. But anyway, the Korean guy I'm talking about, he was the most recent one, and he self-deported. He just left. He just went back to Korea. It was really that simple. He's like, oh, y'all are kicking me out? Don't worry. I'll just go. It'll be all right. He hops on a plane, just goes. Like,
Yep.
if that was always an option, what the fuck were you doing? Why didn't you just go home when you were done? If you were discharged honorably, you probably are going to get your pension for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
So why
no
the
matter
fuck?
where you are.
Yeah. So why? Like, and then like I can't even remember what he was like what his felony was. But he caught a felony recently. Let me look it up real fast. Grok. Help me, Grok. God, I fucked that all up. Say June Park. A 55-year-old Purple Heart recipient self-deported to South Korea on June 23rd, 2025, after 48 years in the U.S. He was ordered to leave due to drug possession and bail jumping charges from over 15 years ago, linked to untreated PTSD from his service in the 1989 Panama conflict. Park, a green card holder, was given 3 weeks to leave or face detention.
Yeah, well, probably should have gotten fucking, more than just a green card if you really didn't want to leave. Like the fact that he left so easily too is like the biggest insult of this whole
Yeah,
thing.
that's the thing. It's just like, oh, I gotta go. Okay, bye. Then he just left. Like, if it was always that easy, just fucking go. But yeah. So more good Trump news. Paramount agrees to pay $16 million to settle Trump's 60-minute interview lawsuit.
Yeah, I heard about this.
Yep.
Did you see the tapes?
No, I haven't seen the tapes.
Oh, bro. Like they put together like some of the tapes, like from comparing what got released to Kamala's actual answers, and it is horrendous, dude.
Oh, you're talking about Kamala. This is about the Trump thing.
No, this is related to the Kamala interviews.
Oh yeah, okay,
Yeah. Like there was one I saw where it was an 8-minute clip total, right? The released part, right, lasted all of like half a minute.
Yeah.
Between the answer and the question, and then the remaining like 6 and a bit minutes, without like there's like an explanation and all that stuff, like in the video as well. But like for the she gets asked the question, and then 6 minutes late, like she delivers this 6-minute like meandering answer.
Yeah, it's par for the course with Kamala.
It just makes no sense, and it's like, bro. No wonder the interview was like, how long was it when it was released? Like 16, 17 minutes or something. When supposedly they sat down with her for nearly like for over an hour.
Yeah. Yeah. So Paramount told various outlets the $16 million settlement will be paid to Trump's future presidential library and would not include any statement of apology or regret. So, of course, they're just going to give him money without admitting any wrongdoing. As part of the settlement, Paramount has agreed that 60 Minutes will release transcripts of all interviews it conducts with presidential candidates in the future. So this lawsuit actually is going to get like seemingly substantive change. Nobody cares, Miley Cyrus. You're fucking gross. CBS's lawyers had previously argued that Trump's case claiming...
Yeah, she's one of those that instead of like aging gracefully, it's like what happened to you?
She's aging like shit. Which she used to be a pretty good looking girl, but she's like kind of wrecked herself. And I don't normally say that. Like
she did. Like I don't even know. Like she doesn't even look like she just coked out. Like like Lindsay Lohan is the best example of that, right?
Oh yeah.
But she doesn't look like she got coked out. I don't know what she did to herself. She just looks completely fucking wrecked. Like, what did you do to yourself?
Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah, Amanda Bynes is another one.
Fucking Amanda Bynes doesn't even look like Amanda Bynes anymore.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell she did to herself, dude.
CBS lawyers had previously argued that Trump's case, claiming $20 billion in damages, was completely without merit. However, Paramount's chair, Sherry Redstone, was reportedly keen to settle the case as the company needed federal approval to complete its multi-billion-dollar merger with Skydance Media. So they're doing it so that Trump will let them merge. Trump has not yet commented on the settlement, but his legal team told the New York Times this was another example of the president holding the fake news media accountable. Trump followed the lawsuit in October after CBS aired its interview with Harris. He alleged CBS had deceptively edited Harris's response in an interview question about the Israeli-Hamas conflict. in an attempt to tip the scales in favor of the Democratic Party. The president had initially sought $10 billion in damages, but later raised the claim to $20 billion after filing an amended complaint in February. CBS lawyers argued that the president's claim lacked standing and said the First Amendment prevents holding CBS liable for editorial judgments the president may not like. While the case was ongoing, Trump criticized 60 Minutes program coverage of various matters, including his handling of Russia-Ukraine and his bid to take control of Greenland. In a post on Truth Social, Trump said CBS should lose his broadcast license and threatened that the FCC would impose maximum fines. Maximum fines! Paramount's leadership purported Paramount's leadership's purported push for a settlement to placate Trump and save the company's merger has caused internal strife within CBS News. In April, 60 Minutes executive producer Bill Owens told staffers he was leaving the show, saying over the previous few months, it had become clear that I would not be allowed to run the show as I have always run it, to make independent decisions based on what was right. So to lie to people and to deceptively edit things to make Harris look good and Trump look bad. Gotcha. For the 60
Yeah,
Minutes,
basically.
they're not going to let me be a fucking shill anymore, so I quit. For the 60-minute audience, quote, nearly a month later, Wendy McMahon, the CEO of CBS News and stations and CBS Media Ventures, also announced her exit and told staffers it's become clear that the company and I do not agree on a path forward. A day after her exit, Senators Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, and Ron Wyden wrote a letter to Redstone warning that the company may be in violation of anti-bribery laws if it agrees to settle with Trump. Yeah, because fucking Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, if you settle an official court hearing effective, then you might be, no, if it's a court settlement, it's not bribery, you fucking idiots. The senator said that such a settlement could be viewed as a quid pro quo arrangement to influence the president to approve the Skydance merger. Paramount is the second major media conglomerate to settle a legal case with Trump over editorial matters after Disney. The $15 million settlement agreed to in December was for a defamation case the president filed against ABC News last year after anchor George Stephanopoulos wrongly claimed Trump was found liable for rape when a jury found him liable for sexually assaulting writer E. Jean Carroll. Disney also issued a statement of regret. And I mean, it was civil court, and he wasn't really found it was found liable for sexual assault. It was that he talked shit about her after the fact. It was a weird ruling. It shouldn't have happened. The E. Jean Carroll case was obviously bullshit. But yeah, Trump is just out here collecting scalps.
I literally cannot believe that shit even got to court. It was so,
especially after the fucking the Anderson Cooper interview. Rape is sexy.
Yeah.
At that point, her lawyer had to be face palming the prosecutor and
yeah, like that fat that fat cunt in the Kyle Rittenhouse case.
Yeah, the fat prosecutor who was just when Gage Grosskreutz was all I pointed the gun at him, and then the other guy was just just him face palming because oh Christ, oh we're cooked. Kyle's gonna walk.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, so anyway, this is just the best part. Like I said, there wasn't much today. It's gonna be a quick one. We're not going a little over an hour and a half, and then we're done. CBS staffers revolt over Paramount's shameful Trump settlement, betrayal to the network's journalists. Result of the agreement on the lawsuit could reach north of $30 million with a $16 million up front. CBS News staffers are furious at the shout out to Fox News, by the way. CBS staffers are furious at the parent company Paramount Global's 8-figure settlement with President Donald Trump that was struck late Tuesday night, ending his $20 billion lawsuit against the network. This settlement is a cowardly capitulation by the corporate leaders of Paramount and a fundamental betrayal of 60 Minutes and CBS News, veteran 60 Minutes producer Rome Hartman told to Fox News Digital. Fox News Digital has learned that the sum being paid to Trump could reach north of $30 million.
Cope and seethe, faggot.
Yeah, literally cope and seethe and do all the dilating you could possibly do. With $16 million being paid up front for his future presidential library, in addition to another 8-figure allocation set aside for advertisements, public service announcements, and other similar transmissions in support of conservative causes by the network in the future. Current Paramount management disputes the additional allocation, and a source familiar with Paramount's current leadership told Fox News Digital only $16 million was sanctioned by the official mediator, and they have no knowledge of any deal Trump made with incoming ownership, as Paramount is set to merge with David Ellison's Skydance Media. However, the including ownership will be responsible for the additional allocation. So it's probably he's talking to the guy who's going to take over after the settlement's done. Now that is a little screwy. The idea that you're going to get 16 million from the current regime and then another 14 million from the regime coming in to take it over. Like I'll let this merger come through if you both pay me. So maybe there is something going on there. But it still isn't a bribe.
I don't care. I find it funny.
It is funny, but it also still isn't a bribe because it's going to be used specifically.
It also kind of lends itself to the theory that Trump is secretly a Jew. Double dipping.
His real name is Donald Trump.
Donald Trumpelstiltskin.
Donald fucking Trumpstein.
Trumpstein.
Trumpberg. Yeah, Trumpberg. Yeah. Trump and Krantz. The lawsuit stemmed from the 60 Minutes interview featuring then Vice President Kamala Harris that aired in October and alleged CBS News separately edited in exchange to aid her candidacy in the 2024 race. Hartman, who was one of the producers of 60 Minutes, Harris interview maintains that his corporate bosses knew the segment that aired was edited by the book and in accordance with CBS News standards. Hartman insisted, except it wasn't. It was a complete hatchet job. They edited the shit out of that interview to try to make her look smart, and she still looks stupid. Hartman insisted that any talk of a settlement was at the behest of Paramount's controlling shareholder Sherry Redstone in hopes of paving the way for the Skydance merger without potential retribution from the Trump-backed FCC, which could halt the deal. Redstone recused herself from settlement negotiations in February, so Redstone wasn't even involved. They know that this lawsuit is completely baseless, but they settled it in order to preserve Sherry Redstone's payday. This is shameful, Hartman told Fox News Digital. A second CBS News journalist told Fox News Digital, "Nobody's happy, but the entire newsroom anticipated the outcome." I think the terms look as good as they could be in the situation with no apology, etc. The CBS journalist said. As part of the agreement, CBS did not admit any wrongdoing nor issue an apology, something Trump's legal team had previously demanded. However, the network did agree to update its editorial standards by mandating the release of full, unedited transcripts of interviews with future presidential candidates. The settlement was addressed internally by CBS News president and executive editor Tom Sabrowski, on Wednesday's 9 a.m. editorial call. He began the meeting by thanking staffers for blocking out the noise over the past several months and continuing forward with their work. The journalist familiar with the call told Fox News Digital. During the call, Sabrowski openly discussed how CBS would cover the settlement with CBS Evening News executive producer Gary Campanile, however you'd say that, who the staffer said was clearly annoyed by the Trump payout. Quote, "I would say almost everyone is upset because it impacts the brand as a whole," CBS journalist said.
I think, lying impacts the brand more.
Yeah, I would say so.
Hacks.
Well, and especially when you consider that mainstream news is that the opinion among the public is at an all-time low. You people are the most they trust you less than they trust the government, and that's
they trust you less than they trust Congress.
Yeah,
Congress, historically the most unpopular institution on the planet.
I know, it's
what?
It's ridiculous. CBS Evening News anchor John Dickerson, who previously saluted saluted ousted 60 Minutes executive producer Bill Owens and CBS News president Wendy McMahon used Paramount's own words against itself while addressing the settlement on Wednesday. Quote, in the end, Paramount decided to settle the suit it said is without basis in law and fact and an affront to the First Amendment. A Stern Dickerson told viewers before ending the newscast, citing Paramount's motion to dismiss Trump's lawsuit in March. However, Dickerson reserved far more pointed commentary for his CBS online streaming program, CBS Evening News Plus, and a lengthy monologue focused on the mission for journalists to get the facts right. Quote, the obstacles to getting it right are many, but the Paramount settlement poses a new obstacle. Can you hold power to account after paying it millions? Can an audience trust you when it thinks you traded away that trust? The audience will decide that, Dickerson said. Yeah, no.
Well, they already decided that because your ratings are fucking cratering.
Yep.
You useless fuck.
Nobody trusts you anyway. Like, the trust is gone. The trust was gone years ago. The trust was gone during
You
Trump's first
pissed
term.
away the trust in like in the last decade. Fuck off. Honestly.
The way the media,
Like, you know, whatever remnants of trust remained, you know, after 2015 was pissed away in fucking thing. Between Corona and you niggas fucking going on about Joe Biden being the healthiest president ever, like fuck off.
Yep.
Trust.
When he had fucking cancer
Talk
the entire
like
time.
dick, you fucking faggot.
Yep. Trump had Trump. Biden was mentally declining, had cancer the whole time, and you lied. You lied through your teeth. Everybody could see it, but you kept gaslighting the American public. Yeah, the trust is gone.
Yeah, everyone knew that Biden had health issues. No one, not really everyone knew he had cancer, but like the level of cancer he has, you cannot get that just like fucking instantly after he leaves office. And then here you have fucking Jake Tapper, obviously a different organization, but like everyone sees you as one blob, right? You're like the Borg, you know. At the moment that fucking happens, Jake Tapper writes a fucking book about it. Like, oh, we were all just as shocked. Like, fuck off. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
and
Jake Tapper was
this cunt fucking quoting Walter Cronkite. Walter fucking Cronkite, the cunt who fucking lost us Vietnam. Fuck these people.
Yeah, I know, right?
These people. Seriously.
Like, Jake Tapper was the guy calling people conspiracy theorists and like talking down to them on TV for even suggesting that that there was like a health issue with fucking like with Biden. It's bullshit. The flip-flopping is bullshit. He's trying to save face. It's a crock. CBS News senior White House correspondent Weijia Jiang took a subtle swipe against their network by sharing a post by Bloomberg correspondent David Gura, who invoked CBS's broadcast legend Walter Cronkite, quote, freedom of the press is not just important to democracy, it is democracy. Andrew Hayward, who previously served as CBS News president from 1996 to 2005, denounced the settlement, telling NPR the decision to settle the case with no legal merit obviously comes squarely from the corporate suite, not from anybody at CBS News. To me, the critical issue is whether 60 Minutes can hold on to its tradition of fierce editorial integrity under new management. I spent 7 years as the chief investigative correspondent for CBS News and 8 as a contributing correspondent to 60 Minutes. Former CBS journalist Armin Katayan, whatever, wrote on X, this Paramount settlement is the nadir for the network, a breach of the public trust. Murrow, Cronkite, Hewitt, and thousands of us worked decades to build.
Fuck off. You cunts never fucking built anything. Fuck you. Like, seriously, the fact that they keep fucking bringing up Cronkite, are you serious?
Well, they're Democrats. They're Democrats, and Walter Cronkite was a Democrat. They're all Democrats. They've always all been Democrats.
I mean, the worst one was another Walter Duranty.
I'm actually unfamiliar with that name.
Oh, okay. Walter Duranty was the Soviet correspondent who worked for the New York Times. This nigga fucking covered up the Great Terror, the fucking purges, all of the fucking like Lavrenti Beria's fucking shit.
Yeah, I remember now. Okay, yeah, you told me
All
about it
because he
before.
was fucking sucking Stalin's dick effectively. Fuck these communists. Like, honestly, dude, they've been doing it for literally all of fucking human history, dude.
Yep.
Like, there is no fucking reason to trust any of these cunts.
Representatives
None.
Representatives for Paramount and CBS did not immediately respond to Fox News Digital's request for comment. At the center of Trump's legal battle with Paramount was an exchange Harris had with 60 Minutes correspondent Bill Whitaker, who asked her why Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu wasn't listening to the Biden administration. Harris was widely mocked for the word salad answer that aired in the preview clip of the interview on CBS Face the Nation. However, when the same question aired during a primetime special on the network, Harris had a different, more concise response. Critics at the time accused CBS of deceitfully editing Harris's word salad answer to shield Democratic nominee from further backlash leading to Election Day. The raw transcript and footage released earlier this year by the FCC showed that both sets of Harris's comments came from the same response. But CBS News had aired only the first half of her response on the Face the Nation preview clip and aired the second half during the primetime special. CBS News previously refused to release the raw transcript when the controversy first erupted in October. Quote, with this record settlement, President Donald J. Trump delivers another win for the American people as he once again holds the fake news media accountable for their wrongdoing and deceit. CBS and Paramount Global realized the strength of his historic case and had no choice but to settle. President Trump will always ensure that no one gets away with lying to the American people as he continues on his singular mission to make America great again, a spokesperson for Trump's legal team told Fox News Digital. So yeah, that's why I called this one Big Beautiful Victory, because it wasn't just because he got the Big Beautiful Bill passed, but also because he, got the CBS settlement. Although, as I said, CBS and 60 Minutes didn't admit any wrongdoing. They just, paid in money and agreed to start releasing the transcripts of their 60 Minutes interviews with presidential candidates moving forward.
Yeah, but I don't want just the transcripts. I want the full video.
No, I agree. But, we got to take what we can get.
Sure, but still, like, I no. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but like I said, it was a good week. Is fucking America's birthday, 4th of July this week, and we got the BBB passed, and it was a good week.
Which, despite like issues with it, it's generally good.
Yeah, it's not a perfect bill, but no bill is perfect. Again, they probably should have been a
Yeah.
series of smaller legislative moves, like split it up into 3 bills. But okay, fine, whatever. I think Trump is trying to get as much done, and that's why it was like one big omnibus, because it's all like, I don't want to split this up and take my entire term to get these things passed. Let me just try to do it all at once.
Yeah, I get it. I get it, but at the same time, it still kind of sucks, right?
Yeah. But it's like, even if he acts as a sort of like, when he leaves office, like even if he acts as a sort of like power behind the throne kind of situation for the Vance administration.
What Obama did for the entirety of fucking Biden?
Yeah. If he did something like that, it still would there's still no guarantee. There's technically no guarantee that JD Vance is going to even, win the presidency. We could have someone's blowing your phone up, dog.
No, it's fine. I'll have a look in a bit. But yeah, like I don't know. We'll see. He's also getting old now too. Like,
Yeah, he's 78 years old.
Yeah, we don't really want to place like all of our hopes on one man.
No, but
especially like a man as old as him. Like, as much as I like Trump and as much as I think he's like, very, very healthy for his age.
Yeah, he's still sharp as a tack, it seems.
Yeah. I just like, all men are mortal, right?
Of course.
Like,
well,
I don't want to be like,
Let me ask Grok something real fast because I'm curious about something. Damn, why is my caps lock on? If JD Vance wins the presidency in 2028, how old will he be when he swears in in January 2029? If JD Vance wins the presidency in 2028, how old will he be when he swears in January 2029? Help me, Grok. Yeah, he would
You
be
can just
40.
look up his date of birth, bro. What the fuck?
Yeah, I probably could have done that. Well, because then I would have had to figure it out from there, and I'd just rather let the robot do it.
Wow. This is American laziness at its peak. This is Canada. You know what he could have had? Could have had British government, American efficiency, and French culture. Instead, he got French government, American culture, and British efficiency. That is not so bad. Why? What could you have had Switzerland? I could have had German efficiency, Italian cuisine, and French culture. What did you get? German racism, Italian racism, and French racism. Uh, Still good. So good.
That is a pretty good meme. But yeah, no. So yeah, there's no. But anyway, our next president could be a fairly young man, the first millennial president.
He's our age, isn't he?
Yeah, JD Vance and I are the same age. He's only like a few months older than me.
Oh, there you go.
Yep, we're finally getting a hold of the reins of power, boys. But yeah, no, that was a show. We wrapped it up in under 2 hours, which is good. I'm tired anyway. It's been a long weekend.
Well, yes, it's thing.
Yep, I was up all night blowing shit up
Beautiful.
because that's how we do it in the U.S. of A.
Mhm.
By the way, yeah, we will
USA.
see you cunts next week.